各位老铁，你们有没有觉得跟外国人交流的时候总是尴尬，不知道说什么？其实这个问题可能不在你。今天我给你两个心态、两个技巧，摆脱跟外国人的社交尴尬。这期说英语哈。开始之前呢，我们先看一个10秒的视频，看看新加坡的建国总理李光耀是怎么看这个事儿的。
I often wonder whether the foreign journalist or the casual visitor like you has fathomed or can fathom the mind of an Oriental. What's inside is completely different.
In most Western teaching materials about how to be social all tell us the same thing, that there's going to be an instant analysis people do when they first meet someone that they didn't know. Is this person a foe or enemy or friend? And to avoid making ourselves being seen as an enemy or foe, you should smile more, give more compliments, or don't look intimidating or threatening. See, there's something they didn't tell you. When people meet someone that doesn't look like them, they don't just put you into the friend or foe zone or category. There's actually a third bucket that is someone that they can manipulate, a tool. So here's a triangle. It is friend, foe, and tool. And that's a trap a lot of us, especially Asian professionals, fall into. Why does it happen? Because culturally, we're afraid of being perceived as a foe, and we overcompensate. We smile too much. We give too many compliments. We nod along, even we disagree. It feels safe to us at the moment, but subconsciously, we send a very subtle signal to the other person and make them think that we're not a friend and we're not a rival. We're someone that they can manipulate. And this doesn't even have to be malicious. It all happens subconsciously within a second because we humans are wired to create shortcuts in our mind to put labels on people before even talking to them. And they're all based on our primal instincts that our ancestors developed through evolution. And this happens because of two predominant reasons. Number one is we were taught to be people pleasers, at least in East Asian culture. And we were pretty eager to do that shit. Number two is we feel like we need something from the other person, whether it is their recognition, their approval, or simply their acknowledgement of our existence. And particularly to Westerners, we perceive them as someone who has more power, resources, wealth, or whatever the reason might be. And this reason or this issue just exacerbates itself. Now, how do we fix it? I'll give you two mindsets that you can start using immediately to hack your brain and get your mind acclimated to this new you. And here's mindset number one. Instead of feeling you need to please the other person or you need something from the other person, carry this mindset that the other person has absolutely nothing to give it to you. Mindset number two is knowing this person has nothing to give it to you, I'm still going to make this conversation fun for both of us to just enjoy the moment. And I'm a firm believer that our actions guide our mind and shape who we are instead of the other way around. So I'm going to talk about two practical tips of how you greet people, the first impression you give to people, that will cement these two mindsets in your brain to make them your muscle memories. And I'll break it down, the greeting process, into two parts. Number one is how you send signal out to the other person. And the second one is how you respond to signals that the other person sends you. So here's number one, how you send out signals. This is not new, but 70% of the information we send out to the other person is through nonverbal cues, such as body languages, facial expressions, how you walk, how you stand, how you sit, etc., etc. And unfortunately, you can't send all signals that you want all at once because there's only so much info your body language can carry. And also, there's only so much info the other person can digest before getting confused. So what we need to figure out is the priority of what signal to send out first. And that depends on a lot of things. To cut through the chase, for most of us, meaning like people looking like this guy, the highest priority is to send out signal that I'm not someone you can easily manipulate. And let's take a look at an example. In this video, it is ex-president of the United States, Ronald Reagan, meeting with Singapore's Prime Minister, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, at a cocktail party at the White House. I wanted us to pay attention to how Mr. Lee Kuan Yew responded to Ronald Reagan's joke. Mr. Lee Kuan Yew was standing still, and you can see his body language. And he was mostly serious during the conversation. When Reagan said something funny, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew laughed, but he quickly retracted his laugh. And then he went back to the serious face. This sends a very strong signal that I'm not someone you can easily manipulate, even though your country has more than 50 times, people than my country. There's a reason why Mr. Lee Kuan Yew is a worldly respected leader, because the backbone that he has. And remember, this is the hardest part, because without it, we're not even on the even playing ground. And it will always be an uphill battle for us. Now we've gotten through the hardest part. Here's where the fun starts. The second trick here is to balance, because you got to balance. You don't want to give people the impression that you're a jerk or someone who just refuses to talk to human, period. And for beginners, this is done through how you respond to signals. And here's the mental trick. Think of yourself as a stand-up comedian. A really good comedian, whether it's from the East or West, they rarely laugh or giggle or even smile when they tell a joke, right? Instead, they use energy or their intelligence or the combo of the two to make their audience engage and laugh.
As I was getting ready for the show this afternoon, I suddenly got very nervous about hosting, but then I remembered the advice my mom gave me about overcoming stage fright. So I drank an entire box of Chardonnay and I feel much better.
And in practice, here's what's likely going to happen. When you first meet someone, you're going to be asked, how are you doing? How's your day been going? Or something along those lines. So you can say, I'm good. How about you? But that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to tell you the heckology. I'm good sends a signal that I either don't want to talk to you or I don't want the topic or focus to be on me. It will send a signal that's very subtle that I'm a potential foe or enemy, or I'm not confident enough to answer that question. AKA, that is a tool signal. And what you want is to have your answer to that question send a I'm a friend signal. And this one is a little different from the first one because you can be really, really creative and it's a lot of fun. So how should you answer it? Let's go back to the stand-up comedian role that you were assigned. Your role here is to make the conversation playful for both of you so you can both enjoy the moment. You can either use your energy or intelligence to achieve it. And that will make the whole world of difference in relationship building. Let's start from the easiest one, your energy. You want to convey a positive energy to whoever you are talking to. So tip number one is to choose phrases that can carry that energy. Things like doing pretty awesome. I'm doing wonderful. I'm beyond good. Living the dream. Never feeling better. The key here is not the words. It is the energy you carry. You don't have to be over the top, but don't be like, I'm doing awesome. You're dreading. You're borderline lying, and that ruins the relationship and the conversation. If you have a go-to answer, you can put in the comments so we can learn together. So tip number two, how do you entertain the audience using your intelligence? And here's the hack. Here's a formula. There's a lot of ways you can do it. But for beginners, you need a formula that you can explore and within this, constraints or parameters. Explain why you're feeling good using a reason that's absurdly related to it. For example, you can say, been feeling amazing since my morning startups kicked in. Or feeling great to think in 2 days, I don't need to wake up early to join our morning sync or whatever. Or you can say, been feeling amazing since my football team beat our rival team in 2023. Whatever that is, to make it fun, you get the point. Point being, you put your gesture there that you're making a conscious effort to make the conversation fun. The other person will naturally pick up your signal and then they will deepen the conversation based on the topic that you chose. So if you have a go-to answer, make sure you put it in the comment section so we can learn together. And my goal here is to make sure everyone who watches the video easily compile a list of answers based on the comments and then start using it in daily life. And until next time, you all have a good one.